Okay, dealing with solfa notation. Solfa notation is a bit complicated, and I would advise that you spend time on this also. Like concerning this chart, you don't have to rush them. We just have to take our time to see the best we can do to spend time on them, study them very well, and then get them right. Put in our energy and time on them, study them, because if you rush them, you might not really get to know them very well. So just like I know them now, that's why I'm teaching you. You have to take your time also, study them. Don't be in a rush, spend time with them so you can really achieve getting to know this chart, because this formation of the chart is just about the base fret and all that, for you to know how to go about your frets, how to apply on keys and on solfa notation. But now we are dealing with solfa notation, so I'm going to show you how we'll go about it and then how we're going to make progress with it. Now for solfa notation, so far that you've seen that already we have our charts here prepared. Already we've prepared our charts, like you can see, we've prepared the charts. So we're just going to put in the keys or whatever that we're going to be working. But since we're working with solfa notation this time, we're just going to work with key G first of all. Now we know our key G is the key G for that is string 1. So we are going to be using that, and for that key G, all the solfa notations as regard to the charts is going to be emphasizing on this particular chart. Now, like I said earlier, this is our fret edges, this is the knot and all that. So I'm going to use, say, let's say we are dealing with key G, which is string 1 on the 4 bass, on the 4 bass string. That is what we are working on now. So this is our key G. So now let's take our key G to be our root. Let's take our key G to be our root, and our root there will be our what? Our do. So the sign we can use for our do, small letter D, is for our do. So that means we'll put our do here. You can see. Then the next thing we have to be looking at, first of all, when we talk about solfa notation, we need to understand that it has to do with solfa notes, which is our do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, and then ti. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So when we say do back, it makes it 8, which is an octave. You can see. And then the next thing we are going to be looking at is for us to assign this particular solfa note on the chart. Now, we earlier mentioned that for solfa notations we have them in tones and semitones. I'm going to spell them out for us, tones and semitones. So we said from our do to our re. Our do to re is tone, re to mi is tone, mi to fa semitone, fa to sol tone, sol to la tone, la to ti tone, and then ti to do semitone. In case you don't know what a tone or semitone is, I believe it's on for me to tell you to go to Google and find out what a tone is and a semitone is. By now we should have known what a tone or a semitone is, so I'm not going into that for now. So do to re tone and all that. So we have it to be 2 tone, 1 semitone, 3 tone, 1 semitone. You can see. So now if we have to fill it on the chart, we have gotten do here. Now the next thing that comes to our mind is what? Do to re, what is the tone? So we'll have to leave a space here, which is the tone. We are leaving the space here and we'll indicate our re on this chart. And then let me use this blue pen. And then re to me is a tone, so definitely we'll leave it space a tone here and get our mi. Then mi to fa, they say semitone, so we cannot leave a tone, cannot use a semi, that means no space of leaving a tone and all that, so we'll get our fa. And then fa to so tone, so definitely we'll leave one here, put our so down there. So to la is a tone, so we know semitone, so we'll leave it, put our la here. La to ti, likewise is still a tone, put our ti. Then ti to do semitone, so no space. You can see we are missing, we are on the same track. One open string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Very correct. And then you ask me how do we go about this and all these other informations. It's very simple. Let me just give you one little secret like I always do. Let's just say I prepare a chart like this. 4 strings, get my lines across. Let me just pick any formation. On the bass fret, this is how you have it to be do. When you want to play your do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. You see? And then if you look at our do, we have a so on top of the do as the note. I'm just going to put my so. And then after so, by the side we have fa mi. So I can put my fa here. So do and ti goes together. Ti will be here. And then we look at so. So what comes before so is la, so. So put my la here. You see, just with this information, I can fill up this place. So I'll just look at the chart. I come to here now, we have do, and my saw is always on top of my do, so I have to put my saw here. And then before my saw, I will get my la. Please, this place is very important. So for the do here, we'll have it to be the saw. If I have to come back to this place, like I said, on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to 8. You have to make it. That's why most times you see musicians, they show fingers sign if they're trying to take you on a progression. 1 means do, 2 re, 3 mi, 4 means if they want you to go on a progression of the fa, 5 means they want you to go on a progression of the so, 6 means they want you to go on a progression of the la, 7 means they want you to go on a progression of ti. So that is just the same formation. So here we have gotten our saw here now, since we have do on that. And the next thing we'll be looking at is before the saw comes the la, because it's a tone. And then before the la comes the ti, like ti, la, so. So definitely here will be do, and then we can put in our re, we can put in our mi and fa, you see, and then so. Are you seeing it now? So, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, so. So, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, so. So now if we start again, do, re, mi, fa, so. Are you seeing it? La, ti, do, re, mi, fa, so. So, fa, mi, re, do. Are you seeing? Because we are working with the tone and semitone formation. So that is to say, we've gotten do here now. So on this place I have my do, I can just come and put my saw here now. Since already I know that on top of every of my do is my saw. And then the next thing I can put here is after saw we can have our what? Fa, and then mi, and then definitely here will be what? Re. Do, so, re. Do, so. So I can even put my re here now. Do, so, can put my re here now. And then we have so. Are you seeing it? Mi, fa, so. Then here will definitely be what? La. If I am ascending, then here will be what? Ti, then do. Already I've gotten re here, so it means I'm really on track. Do, ti, la, so, fa, mi, re. So now what is left here is on these other strings. So we can still look at the same formation and know that okay, we have re here. The next thing, if we want to descend, if we are descending or ascending or we are going on the right formation or on the left formation. If it's on the right formation, here definitely will be do, and then here will be ti, and then here will be la. But if we're going on the left formation, here we're going to be mi, and then fa, so, and then la. Are you seeing it? So we've gotten do, so, re, la. So this whole chart on the software notation is just only for key G. This formation is just for key G. You can see I have really studied it and I know them, that's why I'm very fast about it. But for you, you have to take your time to study them. So you can see do, so, re, la, and all that. So we are working with the tone and semi. Now you might ask me, why do we have all the space here on the semitone and all this other space? Why are we leaving all this space? It's very simple. If you watch in our software notation that we have, just on the same thing like on the keys, where we have our key A, B flat, B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, and then G sharp. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then let's go for, this is for our keys. And then let's go for our software notation. Here we have our do. Now for do, before we have do to re, which is a tone, there is a note there before that re. So I can put do, di, re, mo, mi, fa, fi, so, zi, la, do, ti, do. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12. See? Do, di, re, mo, mi, fi, fa, fi, so, zi, la, do, ti, and then do. So those D, we are not working with the D, mo, and then the fi, the Z, and then the do. We are just using the major notes to be the do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, and do. So that's why you have all those spaces where, whereby if you want to fit them, you now have it to be do, di, re, mo, mi, fa, fi, so, zi, la. You see why we have those spaces there. So let me do another one for us. This is going to be the second one I'm going to be handling, so we can now work on other keys. So we've done for first string key G, then the second string 2 is then key D. So now watch this particular chart I want to use now. We have, so you don't get confused, you now said, what am I having? I told us this is just our frets. So for this particular chart, sometimes you might see it on the online or on the internet. You might not really see the board really created. So this, just take this as our string 1, 2, 3, and 4. So no point to have the other fretboard and all the whole thing, the fret edges around them or the notes. So for this one, let me just fill them so you just understand the principles. Let me just fill them. So now we just have our key D. We take it as our root, which is do. This is our key D. D. Take it out and root as our do. So we can just have our re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, and then do. You see? And if you follow the principle here, or you follow the previous chart we've done before, for every mi and fa, there's always a what? A la under. So we have la, we have ti, and do. For every so, there's always a do under of it. And then for every la, there's always a re under of it. And then re, for every ti, there's always a mi and fa under of it. Look at it very well. So since we have fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, I can just put my so here, fa. Do you understand? So since we have fa, mi, re, here I was already do, and then we have just these two left. So we have our re. What is always on top of the re, la, that is always here. And then that means ti will definitely be here, do will be here. And then we have re. We have back to our mi and fa, and then so. So do, ti, la, here will definitely be so. So la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, so. Then finally for the last strings, if you look at it very well, we'll look at it. So here definitely will be do, ti, and then here will be re, and then we'll have what? Do, ti, la, so, fa, and then mi, and then open string re. This is for key D. So you can see that this is how you also go about the formation for all keys. We've done for G and for D. You see the way I went about the chart. I just used just the strings. 1, string 1. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the strings. So you have to understand that either of them that you face online or whatever you come across it, you have to understand that for this particular chart, it's just the string. This represents our string 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then this happens to be the knots of it and all that. And you see the way the chart is, that is way when it's facing you, that is the way it goes. Thank you.